165 million years ago, our planet was almost unrecognizable. Vast, warm oceans stretched farther than the eye could see, covering much of the Earth. There were no whales, no dolphins, and no great white sharks. Instead, beneath the endless blue water, an entirely different world existed, a world ruled by creatures so extraordinary that they still capture our imagination today. Among all of them, one predator stood above the rest. It wasn't a dinosaur, even though many people think it was. It was a marine reptile, perfectly adapted for life in the sea. Every movement it made was precise. Every hunt was calculated. Every day was a battle between life and death. Its name was Liopleurodon. The Middle Jurassic Ocean was overflowing with life. Ancient fish swam in massive schools. Ammonites drifted through the currents. Marine reptiles cruised above colorful reefs, while countless creatures searched for food in the depths below. It was a thriving ecosystem, but also an unforgiving one. Every animal was either hunting, or trying desperately to avoid becoming the next meal. Liopleurodon belonged to a group of marine reptiles known as pliosaurs. Although it looked like a terrifying sea monster, it wasn't a fish, and it certainly wasn't a dinosaur. Like modern whales and dolphins, it breathed air. That meant no matter how powerful it was, every hunt had a time limit. Eventually, it always had to return to the surface for another breath. Its body was built for one purpose: domination. A massive head made up nearly a quarter of its total body length. Inside its jaws were long, conical teeth designed not for slicing flesh, but for gripping struggling prey with incredible force. Once those jaws closed, escaping became almost impossible. For many years, television documentaries portrayed Liopleurodon as an enormous monster stretching more than 25 meters long. But science has moved forward. Based on the best fossil evidence available today, most paleontologists estimate it measured around 6 to 7 meters in length. While smaller than those early reconstructions, it was still one of the most powerful marine predators of its time, perfectly built to rule the Jurassic seas. Every few minutes, Liopleurodon would rise toward the shimmering surface. A single deep breath filled its lungs before it disappeared beneath the waves once again. Then, the hunt would begin. Sunlight slowly faded as it descended into deeper water. Silence surrounded the predator. With 4 powerful flippers pushing it effortlessly through the ocean, Liopleurodon moved without wasting energy. It didn't rush. It didn't panic. Like every successful apex predator, it understood that patience often mattered more than speed. Then, something changed. Far ahead, a brief flash of silver caught its attention. A school of ancient fish suddenly shifted direction. The water rippled. Somewhere in the distance, another marine reptile moved through the blue darkness, completely unaware that it was no longer alone. Liopleurodon adjusted its course. Without making a sound. Without revealing its presence. The ancient ruler of the Jurassic Ocean began to close the distance. The hunt had just begun. The distance between predator and prey was shrinking. Liopleurodon continued forward, barely disturbing the water around it. Ahead, the school of fish moved as one enormous living cloud. Thousands of bodies twisted and turned together, reflecting flashes of sunlight as they tried to escape an invisible danger. But Liopleurodon wasn't interested in chasing every fish. It was looking for something bigger. Something worth the energy of the attack. Its massive head slowly turned. Then, in the distance, another shape appeared. A marine reptile was moving through the water. It had no idea what was coming. Liopleurodon changed direction. Its 4 powerful flippers began working together, pushing its enormous body forward with surprising acceleration. This was where its anatomy became deadly. Unlike modern fish, which rely mainly on their tails for propulsion, pliosaurs used 4 large flippers. Those flippers gave Liopleurodon remarkable control in the water. It could accelerate. slow down, and change direction with precision. The prey suddenly sensed danger. It turned. For a moment, the two animals faced each other in the blue water. Then the prey fled. Liopleurodon followed. The ocean erupted into motion. Fish scattered in every direction as the predator accelerated behind them. The chase lasted only seconds, but those seconds mattered. Because Liopleurodon wasn't built for an endless pursuit. It needed to get close. And strike at exactly the right moment. The prey twisted sharply. Liopleurodon followed. Then came the attack. Its enormous jaws opened wide. Rows of long teeth became visible in the blue water as the predator lunged forward. And then the jaws closed. The impact was devastating. Those teeth were designed to grip and hold struggling prey, preventing it from escaping. But there was another advantage. The sheer size of Liopleurodon's skull meant that once its jaws locked onto a victim, the prey was trapped inside one of the most powerful weapons in the Jurassic Ocean. Yet even an apex predator couldn't afford to waste energy. Every failed attack meant another burst of effort. Another chase. Another precious reserve of oxygen being consumed. And there was something else Liopleurodon had to think about. The deeper it hunted, the farther it moved from the surface. Eventually, it would have to make a decision. Continue the chase. Or rise for air. That was the hidden challenge faced by every air-breathing marine reptile. The ocean gave Liopleurodon incredible opportunities. But it also imposed a limit. It could dominate the water. But it could never escape the need to breathe. And somewhere beneath the surface, another hunter was watching. Because Liopleurodon may have been one of the most formidable predators in its world. But it wasn't alone. The Jurassic Ocean was filled with rivals. And sometimes, the greatest danger wasn't the prey you were chasing. It was the predator waiting for you to make a mistake. The Jurassic Ocean was never truly empty. Even when Liopleurodon disappeared into the blue darkness, countless predators were moving through the same waters. And that meant every successful hunt came with a risk. Liopleurodon had just secured its meal. But the scent of blood was already spreading through the water. Small fish began gathering around the remains. Other scavengers weren't far behind. For a predator at the top of the food chain, protecting a meal could sometimes be almost as important as catching it. Liopleurodon tightened its grip and began moving away. Its powerful flippers pushed against the water as it carried its prize into deeper territory. Then, something caught its attention. A shadow. Far below. It moved slowly through the darkness. Liopleurodon stopped. For a few seconds, neither predator moved. The ancient ocean became completely still. Then the shadow disappeared. Was it another pliosaur? A rival? Or simply a harmless creature passing through the darkness? There was no way to know. But Liopleurodon had survived long enough to understand one thing. Never assume you are alone. It continued deeper into the ocean. The sunlight above became weaker. Blue turned into darkness. And with every meter it descended, the pressure increased. Yet this was exactly the environment where Liopleurodon had an advantage. Its streamlined body allowed it to move efficiently through the water, while its powerful flippers gave it precise control. But even here, there was a limit. Its lungs were filling with the same air it had taken from the surface. Every second underwater was using that oxygen. Eventually, it would have to return. Liopleurodon began feeding. It tore into its prey with powerful jaws, swallowing large pieces rather than chewing them. There was no need to waste time. Every calorie mattered. Every successful meal helped fuel the next hunt. But then, a sudden movement disturbed the water. Liopleurodon lifted its head. Something was approaching. The predator that ruled these waters had suddenly become the one being watched. For a moment, the roles had changed. And in the Jurassic Ocean, that could happen in an instant. Liopleurodon turned toward the approaching shadow. Its jaws opened slightly. Its massive body became perfectly still. Whatever was coming, it was about to find out why this animal had earned its reputation as one of the great predators of the Jurassic seas. The shadow moved closer. Closer. And closer. Until finally, it emerged from the darkness. Another marine reptile. And now the two giants were facing each other. Neither wanted to waste energy. Neither wanted to be injured. Because in the ancient ocean, even a victorious predator could lose everything from a single serious wound. The confrontation lasted only moments. Then Liopleurodon slowly turned away. There was no reason to fight. The meal was already secured. The rival was not worth the risk. And that decision may have been one of the secrets behind its success. Because ruling the ancient seas wasn't simply about having the biggest jaws or the strongest body. It was about knowing when to attack and knowing when to walk away. Liopleurodon disappeared into the darkness once again. Above it, sunlight continued to shine across the Jurassic Ocean. But below, the hunt never truly stopped.